Hey everyone, I'm Hiro. Welcome back to the CISA exam prep series. Today we're looking at Chapter 2, Section 12, Governance and Risk Management of Generative AI. Think about what happens when employees start using AI tools without any rules in place. They enter personal data without thinking about where it goes. They share AI-generated content externally without verifying it. Confidential company information gets fed into training data. Now flip that. With governance in place, prohibited inputs are documented at the org level. Outputs go through human review before they're used. And controls are in place through both contracts and technology. That gap between ungoverned AI and governed AI is exactly what this section is about. Let's dig in. 4 risks of generative AI. Generative AI introduces 4 categories of risk that auditors need to understand. First, privacy risk. When employees enter personal data into an AI system, there's a real chance that data gets absorbed as training material and leaked later. Second, hallucination. Generative AI can produce factually incorrect information and present it in a convincing, authoritative way. If someone acts on that output without checking it, the consequences can be serious. Third, confidential data leakage. Internal secrets, business strategies, unreleased product details. If those get entered into an AI, they can end up training the model, and eventually surface in responses to other users. Fourth, bias and ethical risk. AI models learn from data. If that training data contains biases, the model's outputs will reflect them. This can lead to unfair or discriminatory decisions, especially in hiring, lending, or customer service applications. What to define in your usage policy? So what should a usage policy actually say? 3 things need to be defined. First, clarify prohibited inputs. The policy needs to spell out exactly what cannot go into an AI system. Personal information, confidential data, passwords. These categories should be tied directly to the organization's existing data classification scheme, so there's no ambiguity. Second, specify approved services. Not every AI tool is safe to use. The policy should list which services have been approved, and control access at both the web level and the endpoint level. And before any new tool gets adopted, a risk review should be required. Third, require human review. AI outputs should not go straight into use. Staff need to verify what the system produces before acting on it. This is especially important for contracts and critical notices, which must never be finalized by AI alone. Contractual and technical controls. A usage policy sets the rules. But policy alone isn't enough. Governance also requires both contractual review and technical implementation. On the contract side, before signing up for any AI service, review the terms carefully. 3 things to look for. Does the service use your input data for training its model? If so, is there an opt-out option? Where is data stored and for how long? And if an incident occurs, who is responsible and what are the reporting obligations? On the technical side, 3 controls matter. First, deploy AI in a private environment. An internal cloud instance or a dedicated tenant helps ensure your data stays separate from other organizations. Second, use an API gateway to filter what goes in. You can block certain types of content before they ever reach the AI. Third, log everything. You need to know who is using the AI, when, and what they're entering. Without logs, you have no visibility. Let's wrap up. Generative AI carries 4 types of risk: privacy, hallucination, confidential data leakage, and bias. These are the categories auditors need to evaluate. Usage policies must address 3 things: prohibited inputs, approved services, and human review of outputs. And governance requires both contractual and technical controls. On the contract side, check whether input data is used for training, where data is stored, and how liability is handled. On the technical side, implement private environments, input filtering, and usage logging. Auditors are there to assess whether these policies, contracts, and technical controls are actually aligned with what's happening in practice. A policy that exists on paper but isn't followed is not a control. It's just a document. Alright, that's it for section 12. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.